oxycodone. It's called oxycodone, as in OxyContin and Percocet. Um, Percocet was around before OxyContin. Percocet is a low dose of oxycodone. OxyContin has more oxycodone in it, if I'm making sense. It's like 80 milligrams as opposed to 15 because it was made to be more of a time release type formulation where people wouldn't, could take just one and it would last all day. Okay, let's take a closer look at that. It's a Schedule 2, which means it has current accepted medical uses, but it has a high potential for abuse. Okay, as it turns out, OxyContin is also called Hillbilly Heroin. It's great for pain relief. Okay, it's a great for pain relief. And so it was prescribed quite a bit to people, but what the drug abusers realized was, and it's supposed to be taken orally, obviously it's a tablet, you're supposed to take it orally, but what the drug abusers do with it is they crush it up and they snort it, which means pulling it into your nose, or they dissolve it in water and inject it intravenously. Okay? In this way, they get a really fast rush, apparently. And the reason why it's called Hillbilly Heroin is because it's a lot cheaper than heroin, available on the street. And how, if it's a prescription pain reliever, how could people who are not prescribed it get it? Well, drug dealers bring it in illegally from other countries, such as Mexico or Canada. They get prescriptions. They steal prescription pads and write prescriptions and fill them all over a city. And they have all kinds of ways of getting a hold of this prescription medication illegally. Then they sell it. The reason why it's called Hillbilly Heroin is because it was first observed widespread use in Kentucky, West Virginia, and Maine. Okay, and these are rural states and areas. And oftentimes people from Kentucky, West Virginia say hillbillies because of the Appalachian Mountains. And so it's called Hillbilly Heroin because it's a similar kind of a rush. It has a similar kind of addiction. But it was, not heroin. And so it's now another reason why it's called, Hillbilly Heroin is, I don't know if you remember, but heroin, well, like I just said, is a derivative of morphine, and morphine, of course, comes from the opium poppy. And remember when we looked before at the active site or the pharmacophore of morphine and Demerol? It's the shape of the molecule that causes the physiological effect, and it's right here. Okay, this has the exact same OxyContin, has the same pharmacophore as morphine and heroin and Demerol. So the name of the molecule itself is oxycodone. Okay, and again, it is a morphine analog. It is synthesized from morphine. And again, the pharmaceutical companies were looking for something that gave the great pain relief of morphine, but had fewer side effects. And as it turns out, this particular medication needs to be given under doctor's care because there are the possibility of addiction. And then when you're coming off of it, you should come off of it gradually, not suddenly. Okay? All right. So it's very similar in structure to heroin and morphine. And it's used both by prescription and illegally, and so it's a Schedule 2 drug.